Today I'm joined by Jamie Stevens. So Jamie, he leads our European R&D and clinical development team. I'll get straight into it. So welcome, Jamie. How would you describe the current state of the clinical development market in Europe?
It's definitely an interesting one. There's lots of companies receiving investment, I find, a little bit more recently. The market over the last couple of years has been poor, I would say.
Yeah.
But you're certainly seeing some more investments happening into some really cool areas of research. So yeah, really interesting to follow at the moment.
So then following on that, where do you see the market now going in the next 12 to 24 months?
I think it's going to happen more of the same. You've got biotech companies that are going to look for partnerships and investment from bigger pharma companies, especially in new modalities such as your CAR-T, your cell therapy, gene therapies. Lots of companies seem to be doing well in this space. So I expect that to continue. And then the recent financing over in the US, thanks to political decisions, I don't know how that's going to trickle down into Europe, but hopefully it doesn't affect it too badly.
So then how mobile is clinical talent at the moment? So are people open to new roles or are they more risk averse now?
People are definitely more open to new roles, I think, especially potentially coming from bigger pharmas where you see a lot of restructuring happening at the moment. There's also quite a few new biotech and pharma hubs coming out across Europe. Barcelona for us is a really big one. The Nordics is a really big one as well. And then you've got Ireland, which is a constantly growing hub in pharma. So people are really evaluating their options about these different places. You're seeing more and more of the clinical talent that are looking to relocate or potentially move jobs at the moment.
And in terms of culture, I met someone recently that came from HQ in the US, and they trickled down over into one of the European facilities, and their main objective was that potentially the leadership in that specific environment could do with honing or training. Are you seeing other companies take on that? HQ, okay, this is the environment we've got. Can we transfer that? Can we build? Can we teach to make our European hub stronger?
It's definitely more of a thing. I think recently a lot of the bigger companies are really getting people into the office more often, and I don't know whether that's to reinforce culture points, but certainly you are trying to see more local affiliates aligning with their global HQ.
The big question at the moment, I think, is where is safe? With Trump's obviously lowering cost announcement, that already is blown up that R&D spend is going to go less. So where is safe? If I'm a candidate now, big pharma, do I go biotech? Like where am I going?
I mean, strictly nowhere's safe, but I personally look at your mid-sized pharma companies at the moment as a place which is often really safe to be. Some of the big companies restructure so frequently, you never know what's going to happen sometimes. Whereas, mid-sized pharma companies that are looking at growing their early pipelines, this can be a really good place to be now, especially when you look to partner with bigger pharmas anyway. That's a space that I would love to see grow more at the moment.
And there's a few things I've enjoyed in your space compared to mine in medical affairs is some of the placements that you've made with the side-on that we could be having a series funding, we could be getting sold, so you're more than welcome to join us, but just to let you know, in a couple of weeks, you might not have a role, but people are taking it. So if I was a candidate and I love this particular science and the leadership, but in terms of funding now, what kind of numbers do you think would excite me or would also stabilise me that I'm entering a good organisation here with enough funding now, enough money, that I've got a good 2-3 years longevity in me to learn, grow, and also have a job and pay my mortgage?
It's really broad. I think there's a couple of companies recently that have, depending on their stage of investment, I've seen as many as sort of 100 million plus rounds in Series B, which is great for a company at the moment. But yeah, those types of numbers for a Series B or even a Series A around 60, 70 million. That's when you look and you think, yeah, that can be really promising for the next couple of years.
So then, if you could share one insight about the world of clinical development at the moment, especially in Europe, like sort of what would that be at the moment?
Maybe less so at the moment, but I heard a really good one this morning that because of the recent changes in financing from the US and how that might affect the European market, it might cause pharma companies or maybe biotech companies to rush to the clinic sooner to get things going, get things into patients. I find that really interesting just from a perspective. I hope this doesn't really affect, the quality of these clinical trials and the safety around them as well, just to, find a return on investment. Obviously, I don't know how it's going to go just yet, but you don't want to see anyone really sort of just rush just to make it to phase 1. That's something I think is going to be a real strategic conundrum for a lot of companies on how they get there and when.
And then obviously in terms of advice for candidates out there, obviously clinical development is obviously well known for taking a lot of people out of clinic directly that have that obviously want to move on or that commercial sensibility. If I'm one of those now and I've been in clinic or academia for 10 plus years, how can I stand out? Because it's so competitive now. How can I get my first jump into industry?
Good question. I think for candidates, it's really important to leverage your clinical experience, especially if you're an MD or a highly specialised PhD candidate. Really leveraging the work you've done in the clinic or in research to how you can really help benefit patients, especially with trial design, trial recruitment, and people gearing towards market and submissions. It's really sort of how much value you can add with your specific background or qualifications, whether it's head and neck cancer, you're specialised in throat cancer, or if you're a rare disease clinician. It's really bringing that close to companies and showing how you can really value patients. That's what I would focus on if I was trying to find my dream role or work on my dream indication.
Obviously, you spend a lot of time speaking to CMOs, and what are they saying? What are they looking for? We hear it all the time. I think the client the other day said to me, if you can find me a superstar that has X, Y, and Z, what are you hearing from the top down now in terms of what's going to stand out from what they're looking for?
Yeah, so there's two avenues here. It's either that real strong connection clinically to whatever they're trying to treat, indication-wise, or it's just a real desire and a real thirst to really help in these clinical trials and really help patients and for people to learn and expand their experience. There's two very different avenues there, but from what these real senior leaders look for is just someone who can really add value for a company.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for tuning in again. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Jamie, real privilege. Please also look into our LinkedIn page and have a lovely day.